Welcome to another episode of What Should You Move? So on this one, we are exploring Paradise Hills Drive. It's next to Mission Hill, similar to the Mission Hill, part of the pocket area of Paradise Hills Drive. You're gonna find same bigger lots, more houses, more square footage for the money, limited HOA. Normally on this, you can notice the background is basically it's a lot of dirt road, few maintenance due to the low HOA. There's not a lot of upkeeping. So if you do the walking, if you into walking exercises, you have limited trail, not a lot though. So how we're gonna do this, because Paradise Hills Drive is big. It's basically a lot larger than Mission Hill. One side of Paradise Hills Drive, you're gonna find the bigger lots, and the other side, you're gonna find the middle class, working class houses. So it can be in the $400,000 range to $750. However, on this side, same as Mission Hill, $550,000 all the way to $1 million. Like this is the biggest. This is one of the largest house on the hill. So that give you the perspective. Now, before continuing on this series, I want to give you basically the reason behind it. So this series, the main core is basically neighborhood identity. What that means is that our goal, well, my goal basically, because I'm the one doing this, is show you exactly what the neighborhood look like, what the environment for the neighborhood specifically like, what the area look like to you. You decide at the end of the day whether you want to move to this location. What I noticed to see in my field when I do a consultation with a prospect or a new client is that they bring their bias, their opinions, their neighbor's opinion, their next door neighbor's opinion about the specific location. And this is basically, what I mean by that is that there's different classes of people behavior. So if you guys follow me on LinkedIn or on Facebook, you notice that I did post a little articles about emotional class. This is a framework that I developed myself over the years, over the business. I learned basically put it together. And now what I do when I interview people, I like to put it in a class of where I can see working for them, how they react. So I primarily like to work with class A people. That's really my expertise. I always like to do is basically work based on the person's identity. Now, why is that? Because that allows me to see whether I can be a great fit for this person or whether he's a great fit or vice versa. Real estate basically bring behavior, emotional, basically to the part. And some folks are more reactive, some folks are more quiet. So later, what I will do a video explaining each class, the meaning, so that way it can help you out in your businesses, in your personal development, in your leadership, and your relationship. Because in this framework, I apply to everything. And I made the framework with one specific rule. It's unbiased. If you bring a bias to the framework, it collapses. If you bring your emotional, it collapses. If you bring your personal opinion, it collapses. It basically gives you a clear picture who is that person really are. And they will help you out. Basically, it helped me out a lot. So I can filter out which people are worth, which people to cut it off, and which people not worth the investment. It's like barking to the wrong tree. Over the years, you learn and you learn, but when I was doing this business, I was thinking age give you maturity, and I find out that's not the case. So now with all this, experience, failure, I got beat on the ass, I got burned, I got lies. So that give you all this what those frameworks are necessary. Now the framework by itself, it just give you the identity of the person. It give you the internal core. And I'm not sure if you're a Christian, but basically the Bible says that the God look at the internal, but the human, like us, we look at the external. And that's true in everything. You see in social media, I'm posting, flexing their material stuff, but all that behind all that, the internal core of a matter. Because, even people who say they're rich, what happens is they go to jail eventually. Jeffrey Einstein went to jail. So all that's a facade. It doesn't protect you. So when I look for working with folks, I always look for the core, who they are. Like the money is irrelevant. This is where I see a lot of Class B agents doing this. They focus on the money, but they focus on the shell, the person, and that give you a different headache. Because if the person is not stable, is not mature enough, when you're in the middle of the transaction, it's basically a chaos. And that's what I see. So now with this framework, it allows me to see who they are. I don't work for anybody else. In life, we have to be mindful who we allow in that circle. Who should we giving our time or space? And a lot of Class A people are like that. Basically, they are grander, confidence, and they don't need to show off. That's the only difference. Class B and C, the only problem with Class B and C is that they lack, here's honesty and humility. That's the biggest core. People, for some reason, Class B want to show up, but they are lying to themselves. And that's a problem. Like, in the real estate world, the government, IRS, they don't give a jack shit who you are. What they want to see is documentation, proof. So, and I was planning to, now this might sound harsh, but in my community, my Mexican community, my Hispanic community, is common for Class B. Now, why is that? You got environment growth, clubs, people. As children grow up in their harsh environment, they're gonna copy their parents' behavior. They're gonna copy the mom's behavior. They're gonna copy the uncle's behavior. So they are not trained to see the reality behind the person, behind the core, what really matter. So if you're a Class A, but your environment is Class B, if you don't have that ground, and the way I frame it is like a gyroscope. Gyroscope, once you're Class A, the ground can shake, they can tilt you, but you stay, eventually you go back to the frame. Class B cannot do that because Class B need validation. They seek the external, the material. And that give you basically, it's a whole kind of war. You see in social media, you see everywhere. So when people come to me and they say, oh, I make such a charge, the first thing I like to do is interview. Basically, who they are, what they do. Basically, you build a profile, and it's like an interview. When you go to a job interview, that's the company gonna do. They're gonna ask you basically all these questions: who you are, why you be a great fit. Those interview questions. Why? Because they wanna filter out applicants. Same because I apply my business. When I interview, I try to help my own people. I can't. I wish everybody would come with honesty, but it's not the case. That's another problem. Sometimes I ran through this issue like you can't like it's okay if you lie to me right now, but when we're in that process and you gotta show paperwork and what you show me is not matched, they get so defensive, they get so insecure, the emotion is not coming up, they get so aggressive. So at the end, I just, you know what, you're not ready for this. Let's uh, reverse another time and call the relationship off. It's not worth your time, your energy, because Class B would drain your energy. I can shit you now. They drain the energy. It's like a plant. Doesn't plant, doesn't matter how many water you're giving, they're not gonna grow up. And that's why the framework is unbiased, because it doesn't care about your age, doesn't care about your income, doesn't care about your demographic, doesn't care about your race, your where you're coming from. All that doesn't matter because it's the internal. But anyway, so let's focus on Paradise Hills. We're gonna explore these pockets, and I'm gonna do a 2 video series. One is there. So we on the east side of Paradise Hill. The east side, there's also a land down there on College Drive. So it's great investment. Somebody wanna open a commercial space because you have, like I said, high buying power. That's another area. So that's the park over there. That's Sangare Avenue. This is Paradise Hills. Basically no sidewalk. And I don't know if you know that, but you see that house over there? Yeah, that's one of the king of the hill. So we're gonna go over there and we're gonna explore all these pockets. And if I'm gonna show you the commercials, the little lot over there, so you guys can see as well. Okay, so we are driving north of College Drive. On this pocket, you know that the big lots, there's a lot of big acres of land. For a vacant lot, depends on the acre, you're gonna pay $755,000. At this point, there's one for sale, a 5-acre parcel for 3.5 million. And also you will notice this community doesn't have a lot of sidewalk. Part of having a HOA is that it will give you that benefit of maintenance, sidewalk, that green. However, if you're not into that sort of thing, then, this makes sense. It's mainly dirt. So you will have to, put your own driveway, everything. So you got more customization. It's not for everyone. Like I said, the good thing, because of the quietness, it can give you a leverage. And if you want to have a party or, whatever you want and not be bothered. So this is also a great location. Okay, so you guys saw there's a big lot on the east side of Paradise Hills. We saw a lot of signs. There's still a lot of lots for sale. One of the beauties of this area that you can pretty much build whatever you want. I know it's this company, Dream Construction. I know the agent. Her name is Cynthia. She's great. She used to be with us. Now she's with another company. But basically, she does this thing. Her husband as well. It's like a little small business construction. Basically, they're a builder. So that's her little sign. So if you guys wanna look into building your own custom homes, she can do that. So on this parcel, there's some of the houses, different size, different amenities, different style. Price range can be 1.7 all the way to 6 million. The 6 million is just a big parcel with no draft, so you will have to build from the ground up. So, but yeah, pretty nice. Everybody has their own style, uniqueness, so you can customize however you want. I saw all the different lots, different property, different lands, a lot of lands available on this Paqueto area. But all these is external. It doesn't tell you nothing who the person is. So the class will reveal who they are. So class A, one of the things that we value is quietness. We're grounded. So if they can be a great for somebody who basically want to be by themselves, don't want to be bothered. Class B then tend to be reactive. So basically give you an idea of the kind of person people want. People choose, different factors. So we're gonna go more down south and show you basically the whole package area. So most of these, like I said, there's no HOA. So also there's not a lot of light poles. So at night it's gonna be dark as hell. So I always keep that in mind. There's not a lot of walkway, so there's a lot of area where it's dark as hell. So keep that when you walk your dog, when you walk your pet, only a day, because there's no HOA, there's no pole. Literally, there's no pole on these specific areas. So if you Okay, so we back on the road. This is the entrance for the King of the Hill mansion. So give you a different perspective. It's freaking high though. I don't know how they got made over there. This is a Greenway Road. So to my right, you have the east side. But this road is where the division began. To the west is where most of the single family homes, maintenance worker, single family, middle class. That's where they are. So that one has to have commercial space and retail space. This is middle school as well as on this road. So if you stay with your nephew, granddaughter, or grandparents, they can go to school on this. There's also a local senior community care. So if your daughter or if you want to take care of your mom, you can drop it there to take care of that. This was pretty clean, pretty slow. Basically, it's school sensation, so you see most of that. And this is also where you find the local community park. It's great for walking. You see a lot of kids playing around. So check it out. Streets wide, a lot of cyclists. So I give you a different perspective. And where the HOA began. You can see like this one. It's decent, but let's see. Can we show instruction occupied by the owner? Fuck. That one's available. Look decent. Oh, bacon. Oh, nice. This is good. So let's do this one. Because of the high property value, the little pocket of Mission Hill Drive and what's the other? Los Horizon, they get the extra pool. So in the real estate, comparable is a big thing. So if your house is in the area where it's a lot of comparables, then you get that extra boost in equity. Now, would I buy this house? Absolutely not. It's not worth the money. But for the right people, if you want to stay in this area, it's kind of like a premium. Go for a rental though. This is more for like a rental place. Because you pay right. I don't know what's the comp. Like I can look it up, but they're asking for 60. For 60, they've been on the market for almost 50 days. And for this kind of money, you can get a better house, a nice neighborhood, and another area, Henderson, like Green Valley, or what's another ranch? Windy Ranch. So, and this is like a regular middle class family, single family home. So only 4 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, 4 bath. It's kind of big though. It's 3881, so I give it like a bonus, but at the same time, for this amount of money, you must well spend it. Like I said, this is your first time buying a home. I will not buy this home for the first time. This is more someone who wanna be in this area for whatever reason. Maybe family, school. Those are the more like the core motivation, but for the the value for the money and the equity, it's good because you got the mansions are pulling the equity, so the pockets of that area give you the extra boost. But for someone who started the first time family, I would not recommend this property. It's pretty, but you spend so much cash, you can get something else in another area. So, but that's like the point of view. It's a nice house. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, the house is pretty. Nothing wrong with the property. But when it comes to real estate, is basically, the factor will be more is the person. So this house is mostly for like a rental. Airbnb will be because they have your own private entries. So this is the own private entry. So you don't. For rental, this makes sense. So it has solar panels though. I didn't know that. Yeah, the solar panels. All right, so this one is still Mission Drive. There's another lot to my right, and we are approaching near College Drive, where there's the little lot, the commercial space, and the church. So that's another great area if you want to visit. All right, so this is where College Drive and Mission Drive begin. As you notice, you got a big lot. So if you want to open a store, commercial space, retail space, you have a great lot to do. I don't know how many acres a lot, but it's freaking huge. So for the right developer who want to do some investment in this community, it's going to be great because you got the churches, you got the folks, you got the 55 and older, You got the park over there, that's Mission Hill Drive. So a lot of families, if somebody want to open a space here, especially a fast food restaurant, it'll make sense because you have buying power, same thing. Average income, over there we saw was $98,000 with these houses because they're on the $1 million and above. It will be similar, like $100K to $200,000 a year. So they have more options. But anyway, that's the end of the videos. If you have any question, any pockets on this neighborhood, send me a message. I can definitely get you more information. If you want to explore moving to this town, to Paradise Hills, do your research. If you have your agent, do the research. Don't just go over here and buy out of the blue because you notice what was going to happen. If you buy that house that we saw early for long-term planning, yeah, it makes sense, but short-term, it's not a good idea. If you want to think about moving into the town, we can definitely have the conversation. Also but to see if we align, we are very fit. You know, I don't have my own filter, so as long everything we match, I can definitely help you out, give you all the data, so you can make the best decision. Um, my goal from any deal that I do with a client is basically look for their long-term aim. That's it. What's the long-term goal? What's the long-term aim you want to stay there for because you want to stay there? So that's fine. But always, what exactly you want to do? What's your plan? So I know I do more than the typical agent, but that's how I see it. Real estate really, when you control the land, when you control the market, when you control, you have a lot of buying power, a lot of political power too. So you can get a lot of it done. So, you know, uh, jobs like to follow developer. So if someone want to open a restaurant here, you bring job to the community, you bring job for employment, students. There's actually a college over there. Later we'll do another video, but there's a student over there, so student can get employment. You got the local church, exactly. So you can do it good for the community if you in that sort of